voice of women in sport.
This is Season 3, Episode 15 of The Horse Show on WIS Sports Radio. I'm Chris Stafford, coming to you from the FEI World Equestrian Games in Tryon, North Carolina. It is the end of day one of competition here, and we have just had an amazing day of drama in the endurance, that is. That was the competition that started early this morning and had to be restarted. And then I've just heard now, as I record this, that the race has been called off because of the conditions, and I'll know more about that tomorrow. There will be a press conference later today. But for now, the endurance competition has become a non-event, and a very controversial one here, which will be talked about for a long time to come. But what else happened today here was the first day of Grand Prix Dressage, and we saw Germany predictably going into the lead after two riders. The other two riders of the teams go tomorrow, day two of Dressage, but this is the Grand Prix that decides the team medals. So Germany went into the lead with Sweden in second and USA in third, in bronze medal position at this point. And so we've got another day of the Grand Prix tomorrow, and we'll also have the start of the eventing today. So on the eventing side of things, they did their trot up this afternoon, and it was extremely hot in the down there for the jog, the trot up, the veterinary inspection. And there was one horse on the Belgian team that was held. While I was down there, I watched a little bit more than half of them get trotted up, and before I then went to walk the cross-country course. And having just got back from walking the course in very, very hot conditions, we learnt about the endurance being called off. So it's been a day of high drama here. In terms of the cross-country course, well, that was an interesting track to walk, because much of the terrain is very new, and there's still a lot of earth moving going on. We had a couple of downpours this afternoon, which have caused a lot of standing water around the course. But it would be a very interesting course once it's established, but there's still a lot of moving earth, so to speak, and a lot of standing water. And if we don't have any rain between now and cross-country on Saturday, I think they may be in good shape, that the ground may well absorb the rain that they've had. But if it rains much more before Saturday, it is going to be a bit slippery, and most of the course is actually on an old golf course, so it's beautiful footing, beautiful turf, and I doubt there's many meters where it's absolutely level. It's a very interesting track. It's beautifully presented. It really is a lovely course, but it's up and down the whole time. And then towards the finish, coming up towards the finish up to the top of the hill, there's a really big drag from the water complexes. There's two water complexes down in the bowl on the flat in the middle of the course, where you can see many fences if you are watching down there. But then when they come away from that and towards home, the final section of the course is up a long pole of a hill. And the horses that would be selected for this course would be selected for their stamina and not for their speed, because that's going to really test a tiring horse coming up that hill, and especially if it's very hot and humid conditions. But it is a beautiful course. I've taken lots of pictures that I'll be posting on our Facebook page as well. And today the Kiwis, the New Zealand team, actually had a press conference this morning telling us about their horses, and I was able to catch up with Jonelle Price, who's riding Classic Moet, the mare that she won badminton on earlier this year, and 4 years ago at the last World Equestrian Games, she finished fourth, just outside the medal. She was the highest placed New Zealand rider there, and she did tremendously well. Very impressive combination. And I had the opportunity to catch up with Jonelle and ask her what she thought about the conditions here, the venue, and she had not walked the course at that point. But I also asked her about the form that she's on and how she feels about the mare. So let's hear from Jonelle. Jonelle, team price right now is on a high. I said to your husband Tim yesterday, and he asked me how I was. I said, well, not as well as you. You guys are just rolling. It must fill you with confidence coming into a championship and the form that you've had this year.
Yeah, of course it does. It's nice coming in with that, knowledge that the horses and the whole team have been on form this year. But it is very much a new competition, a new week. We've also been on the other end of a great result, and I think we appreciate what it takes to perform and produce a top result. So certainly not resting on our laurels.
Well, you've obviously got a stable full of terrific horses at this level, 3 or 4 star level. Between you now, with the kind of form you have, do you think you're coming into your career best now? You're really both peaking at now, and you particularly.
Yeah, for sure. It's... but it is an accumulation of years. I don't think it's suddenly come out of nowhere. I think we've been quietly tracking towards it, probably for the last, 7-8 years. Maybe back 10 years ago or 5 years ago, we were sort of knocking on the top 10 at a 4-star, and then it went top 5 and top 3, and now we've managed to put a couple of wins together. So I think it has been tracking in that direction, and now the difficult part really starts in maintaining and staying there.
Well, of course, you're a mum now. Does that change your perspective? I'm sure you've been asked this a number of times, because we hear from a lot of riders when they've had a child, it kind of shifts their perspective a little bit. Does it alter you at all in any way when you go into the start gate?
Personally, for me, no, it hasn't at all. I think it's different for each woman is different, but, I've been very lucky that it hasn't changed. He's certainly enhanced our lives, but, from my competitive career, it's business as normal.
And do you find now with success you have more ambitions than you had, say, 5 years ago or 10 years ago? I mean, how would you, looking at the arc of your career, where do you think you are now and where you want to go?
No, I don't think it's changed. Like I said, it's been, we've always believed we would get there, and I think that's where we've been lucky having the two of us, is we've never looked backwards. It's only ever been looking forwards. And like I say, yes, we have got some results now, but it's certainly not the end of the road. It's about maintaining and sustaining that. We want team medals. We want, there's Olympics. There's a lot more, to come over the next, however, 10 years or so. So it really is just about sustaining our place in the sport at the top end, hopefully.
That's what it's all about, isn't it? Consistency, and the Kiwis are known for that when it comes to the event team. Now let's move on to what you have to deal with for the next few days here, and what your impressions are of the track and the facilities, and how the horse has been going since you've been here.
Well, we're just actually about to go and have our first look at the track in a minute, so we haven't had a glance. I'm a little bit worried. What I have seen just at length looks a little bit on the small side, but I don't want to judge too early. The venue is incredible, and certainly, perhaps 6 months on, when the dust is settled, it will be a spectacular venue. They're certainly up against it, trying to get done in time. But from the horses' point of view, the stables are fantastic, the arenas are great, and that's the most important thing.
We'll talk about where your horse has been going now. When you came over with that horse, did you have the horse that you hoped to have when you got here before the competition in terms of fitness and preparation? Are you just spot on where you need to be, Jonelle?
Yeah, I mean, you always sort of have those last minute sort of, not nerves, but thinking, oh gosh, have I done enough? And, Classic Moet, she's a funny one because I run her so little. So, when you don't run them so much, you're sort of thinking, oh God, do I need to do more, or have I done enough? But she had one basically final run a couple of weeks before we came away and advanced, and she won that. So I think she's on song. And the other sort of unusual thing people probably don't realise with her is she's actually barely travelled. She's sort of been doing badminton in Burleigh for the last few years, and the only time I think we established she's really left England was Normandy, which is just across the water. So she's actually never flown before. She sort of hasn't been in a hot climate like this. She's a bit more relaxed this week than I'm used to, which I'm sort of putting down to the hot and humid conditions. So yeah, it is actually a little bit different to what we're used to, but she seems bright, and I'm sure when when it comes time to unleash her, she'll be at her best.
Fantastic. And do you know your order of go?
No, I think that'll come post-trot up this afternoon.
Okay, well, we'll catch up with you later. Jonelle, thanks very much and the very best of luck to you and to Team New Zealand.
Thank you.
Well, the Kiwis have to be one of the favourites. Of course, they've got Sir Mark Todd on the team. They've got Blythe Tate on the team, who was the first gold medalist of the very first World Equestrian Games in Stockholm in 1990. And he then went on to win more medals at World Equestrian Games. And here he is back here all these years later in Tryon, North Carolina, back on the team. So they have a very strong team. And with Tim Price as well, Jonelle Price's husband, they're in cracking form. So they'll be real contenders. And they will be hoping they have not just the stamina, but that extra little bit coming up that hill. It's all going to be down to that at the end of the day, whether anybody makes the time with the conditions, with the heat and humidity and that long pull towards the end of the course. So that's all happening on Saturday, of course, here at Tryon, and in the meanwhile the eventers do start their dressage tomorrow morning, so the 2 days of dressage, we'll be watching that. Now that I've walked the course, I'm going to sit back and relax tomorrow and watch the dressage, the second day of the Grand Prix dressage, and then in the eventing it will be the first day of their dressage. So that's what's happening here tomorrow, as well as the reining. The reining got underway today. There'll be a press conference here later this evening, so if we have any news from that and results, I'll bring that to you on tomorrow's show. But lots of drama, as I said, with the endurance today. That's what it really was all about, and there's a lot of standing water out there. I've just walked back from the finish area, the first vet gate and the finish for the endurance, and it's really, really sloppy conditions. But the race was called off. We won't be presenting any medals here for the endurance at this World Equestrian Games. And we'll have more news about the high drama that ensued and why that was cancelled, because we've heard various reports, but not an official one yet, that we'll get in the press conference later this evening. So that's about it from Tryon in North Carolina, from the Tryon International Equestrian Centre and the World Equestrian Games for today. And there'll be lots of pictures too that you can see that I've taken around the venue from the course today as well. I'll be posting those on our Facebook page if you follow us there at With Sports, and also on Twitter. And I'm also doing Facebook Live as well. I did one of those this morning. We did have a technical issue with the video being on its side, but we'll rectify that somehow if we can. So you can watch that, because I was able to catch up with Karen O'Connor, just fortuitously. She photobombed me, actually, when I was doing the live recording there this morning. So I pulled her in, and we had a chat about her coaching the Mexican riders. She's got one individual rider here from Mexico that she's coaching, and she told us what she thought about the course and the facilities here. So you can catch up with Karen O'Connor and me having a conversation on Facebook Live. You could listen to it, and right now the video is on its side, so I'll try and rectify that for you. But that's actually on my Facebook page and also on the With Sports page. So we'll be doing more of the Facebook Lives tomorrow, and of course a podcast tomorrow after the end of day's play. So for now, that's it from Tryon, North Carolina, from day one of the World Equestrian Games. I'm Chris Stafford, and I appreciate you stopping by and listening to the Horse Show as always. Do follow us on social media at With Sports. Check us out at withsports.com, and let me know if you want me to talk to anybody while I'm here at the World Games. If there's any riders you'd like to hear from, let us know. That's it for now. Thanks for listening. Goodbye for now.